facts. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Happy Friday afternoon. Happy Friday afternoon. I got my new microphone. Probably can't tell the difference. Well, some of you will be able to tell the difference. I can certainly tell the difference. So, yeah, there it is. There's the new microphone. I got another Blue Yeti. This one's refurbed. I know it's not blue. My other one's blue, but it ain't working. So, whoop, dead is. You can have a little look around my office, a little looky-loo here, right? There's shit everywhere. See, this is what I look at all day. Hey, some of my stuff. I gotta clean my desk a little bit. I have these pads up because otherwise it sounds a little too open in here. Got another thing there. There's a trudging together thing, club trudge. That leads into my bedroom. We got more padding here. All right. So that is the office. This is where I keep all my books in case you care. That's where they all are. That's where the magic happens. There's another microphone, huh? What's under here? Let's go for a deep dive into the. It's just a bunch of books that I don't use that much. What's that fucking hanging back there? I'm gonna have to find that out. Okay, it is hanging back there. And why is my phone stuff? Oh, it's the cord to the microphone that's sitting on the other shelf. So, all right. 2:00 in the afternoon, the worst time to pretty much go live. This is usually when people are busiest. So, we had our noon meeting today. That went well. Or 4 of us, 5 of us. Even there's just 2 or 3 of us, we go the full hour, man. There's always something to discuss. There's something to bring up. There's, I'm not saying that I haven't, closed a meeting early, but really, even then there's a guy that attends a lot who needs a verification. They showed up for the last 20 minutes, but they participated. They showed up and participated. And I'm like, I'm still going to send you your verification. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, man. It's not about the time. It's about the effort. It is. For me, it is. It's about, he showed up, put in some effort. That's being at a meeting. There's nothing that says anything about time. So, all right. Well, I yacked as long as I could till other people got here. I'm not seeing anybody. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm just double checking something. All right. Just making sure that there isn't chat going on and I'm not seeing it. There we go. All right. So welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'll be your host. I'm your host. I'm the host. There is no other host of the Daily Trudge. It's me. I'm trying to bring on co-hosts. I don't know what it is. Well, and I'll bring this up here in a second. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Now, I'm confused about something. All right, I'm gonna share my screen, right? And I don't know what it is. Okay. Now, this one right here was this morning. That was this morning, and it's already been downloaded 25 times. Okay. This has been out for 24 hours, but it only has 4. And I don't understand why these numbers are so far apart. I mean, look at this 57, 38. But then, so it's like the Daily Trudge does really well, but the podcast doesn't seem to get out there as much. And I don't know why that is. The only reason I could think of, honestly, and I'm not trying to be egotistical, is people just want to hear me. And, that can't be the answer. As it comes out of my mouth, it can't be the answer, man. So I don't understand. If you understand that stuff better than me, please let me know. Please let me know. All right. Looks like we got some people just double checking, because usually people say hi when they come in. So I'm just making sure that we're not getting, okay. A little paranoid that chat isn't working. All right. So let's get started here. I'm going to be in the 12 by 12. Going to be in the 12 by 12, and I'm going to be reading step 12. So, but welcome everybody. Welcome to say hello. Say hello to my nice new microphone. Hello, microphone. This is a new one. Does it sound any different? Does it sound better? It should. It should have more depth to it. It should sound a little bit more surround sound. The other one is kind of tinny. All right. So I'm going to start in step 12. But I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in a little bit. All right. Because it's pretty long, and I'll probably be skipping through this. So I will probably be changing. I sound louder. Okay. Good. You may have had to turn it down a little bit. Here, I can actually help with that. I'm going to turn down the gain a little bit. Let me know if that is better or worse. This is helping me out a lot, just so you know. So let me know if that's better or worse. All right. So I'm going to start on page 109, and they just got done describing the steps and what we got out of them. So practicing these steps, we had a spiritual awakening about which finally there was no question. It's better that way? Okay, perfect. Thank you. It's a big help. It's hard for me to do the sound without hooking a bunch of shit up. So it helps me a lot. I'm trying to get the sound to where it sounds a little bit more like I'm on the radio. I got radio voice, right? I used to say I got a radio face, but I'm a decent looking enough guy. I mean, I have a pretty cute wife, so I must be halfway decent looking, right? Because it wasn't my winning personality. Actually, it is. It is. I make my wife laugh. So, all right. So we finally had a spiritual awakening, which there was no question. Yeah, we don't doubt that spiritual experience or awakening. And what is an awakening? Well, I once was lost, but now I'm found, right? Looking at those who were only beginning and still doubted themselves, the rest of us were able to see the change setting in. This just kind of actually happened in a meeting. It was just in our meeting where this young man is doing better, and people were pointing it out. Hey, man, you've made some changes. Yeah, see, his eyes are starting to shine. There's only one thing in this world that I've found that make the eyes shine, and that's a spiritual experience. It's God. Right? From great numbers of such experiences, we can predict to the doubter who still claim he hadn't gotten the spiritual angle, and who still consider his well-loved AA group the higher power, will presently love God and call him by name. All right. So group of drunks can only last for so long, is kind of what they're saying. But it's a great place to start. Absolutely. If that's where you need to start, I started pretty small. Absolutely, I did. But sooner or later, you're going to find your own higher power. Because even a group of drunks, I mean, it's full of people. And even a group of people can be fallible. Yes, they can. All right. Now, what about the rest of the 12th step? That wonderful energy it releases in the eager action by which it carries our message to the next suffering alcoholic, and which finally translates the 12 steps into action upon all of our affairs, is the payoff, the magnificent reality of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, everybody in this world wants to be needed, wanted, and loved. Yes, they do. I can feel it too. I can feel it. You know, I do everything that I can to make people feel welcome. I do what I can. I'll even go out of my way to make you feel welcome because I can feel your pain. You know, even the people that were the mushroom people that were crashing us here for a little bit. I'm like, you can stick around as long as you ain't gonna post that stuff, but you can stick around. I had a few bombers where they've tried to do things. I'm like, if you know, because the way I see it is, you didn't find me by accident. That's not how it works in my world. I don't promote. So there's only one way you're really going to find me. God. God's the only reason. Right? But the eager action by which it carries our message to the still suffering. It's a huge thing, man. I mean, it's so huge. I don't really have words for it. I do the best that I can. All right. Even the newest of newcomers finds undreamed rewards as he tries to help his brother alcoholic, the one who is even blinder than he. All right. So the saying in AA is you can practice any step that has a 1 in it. As soon as you come in. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know, we were talking with a young man yesterday. You know, he's like, I only have 28 days. And of course, in our group, we're going to say, no. You have 28 days. Do not diminish that time. 28 days is a long fucking time. 28 days is longer than 8 years. We understand that. We get that. Right? And you always see people turn around and be like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because it's hard to give ourselves a little bit of credit. You're like, well, 28 days really isn't that long. And no, in the grand scheme of things, no, it's not. But in our world, it is a very, very, very big deal. And then we went on to explain that, hey, somebody coming in is probably a little bit more apt to believe you that you have 28 days than somebody that has 20 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, you're closer to them than we are at that point. So you can be of help. Well, man, 28 days and you're a useful member of something, that's pretty fucking cool, man. That is really cool. And now he's going to chair on Saturday because he'll have 30 days and that's the requirement. And look at him fucking go, man. Isn't that cool? On a Saturday night. Young man, instead of heading to the bar, instead of out there running and gunning, is going to go to an AA meeting and chair it. Wow. That is nothing short of a miracle God. Nothing short of it. All right. These are the things that I get to experience on a daily basis. Yeah. You get to too. It's great stuff. There you go. Yeah. Well, a lot of people find me different ways, but it's always God. There's always nothing happens in this world by mistake. I believe that. Shell says, wow, now that I think about it, how did I find you? I think I was scrolling through Facebook and heard you speaking, and you look like my brother, and here I am. I get that a lot. You remind me of something. I remember someone came up to me once, and they're like, you remind me of my brother who disappeared 10 years ago, and we think he's dead. I'm like, oh, shit, God, no pressure here. You know? People find it easy to talk to me. It's because I'm not holding any judgment. If you're talking to me, I'm not judging you. All I want to do is help. Yeah. Right. Okay. This is indeed the kind of giving that actually demands nothing, and we don't need to demand anything because we already got it. We've already received our gift. So it is easy for us to be able to pass this on. It is an altruistic movement, and it can't be done any other way. Not for me. Not for me. Right? He does not expect his brother sufferer to pay him or even love him. And then he discovers that by divine paradox of this kind of giving, he has found his own reward. Whether his brother has yet received anything or not, his own character may still be gravely defective, but he somehow knows that God has enabled him to make a mighty beginning. And he senses that he stands on the edge of new mysterious joys and experiences of which he had never dreamed. All right, just making sure that, because we have somebody on YouTube, so I'm just making sure that they're not chatting. Okay. I'm really paranoid that the chat's not working on there. Practically every AA member declares that no satisfaction has been deeper, no joy greater than in a 12-step job done well. Now, that doesn't mean that you go to the hospital or the detox, or there's a lot of different kind of 12-stepping. A person doesn't even need to be newer. Maybe it's an old timer being reminded of something that he needed for that day. That happens to me quite often. That is also 12-step work. See, that's what's great about the newcomers is they don't remind me that it doesn't work out there. I don't need that part. Okay. And people will say, well, you remind me it doesn't work out there. I find that rude, offsetting, and it puts them apart. And no, I ain't jumping on that wagon. Okay. I knew that before I walked in the darn room. All I need to do is drive around and see people holding up signs and people asleep on the street and things like that. But what is that person giving me? They're giving me hope. They're reminding me of the basics of Alcoholics Anonymous, that my primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. And it helps keep me in my lane. There's a lot to the newcomers. There is. And they should be and newcomers should be treated with respect. Well, respect is earned. They walked in the fucking door. They made it. They raised their hand. Right? Last night, and it's a very good question. We were saying maybe in order to share, you got to turn your camera on. Okay. Now we ended up voting against it, but what we want to do is try and encourage people to turn their camera on so that they feel more accountable. Because when you feel more accountable, you're probably going to come back. Where we want to help you get over that fear of showing your face, and you don't want to show it because you're detoxing. Okay. Well, the thing is I had to do that in front of everybody. Zoom wasn't around yet, man. I couldn't hide behind my camera. So, we're trying to encourage them. Now, we don't want to make it a demand because we can't tell anybody to do anything. Okay. We don't want to run them off. But gosh, I would like to support them so that they could find enough courage to turn that camera on. Yes. Absolutely. Right. And I know the courage is there because we were just in a meeting and one person was in their hospital gown. Okay. When I had longer hair, it was often I came on here and my hair was all over. I'm disheveled. I'm almost always in pajamas, Anyway, to watch the eyes of men and women open with wonder as they move from darkness into light, to see their lives quickly filled with new purpose and meaning, to see whole families reassembled, to see the alcoholic outcast received back into his community of full citizenship, and above all, to watch these people awaken to the presence of a loving God in their lives. These things are the substance of what we receive as we carry AA's message to the next alcoholic. And what does that create? It creates gratitude. It's the best form of gratitude I've ever had in my life. And it's amazing. So amazing. I have a loss of words for it. I mean, they're doing a much better job here of describing it than I am. You know, I can barely even there. It's just it's undescribably wonderful, man. You know, going from being the scum of the earth to being somebody. Wow. You know, that's why I like working with young men who have children, who have a wife or a significant other. Doesn't matter to me. There's nothing cooler than them coming back saying, "Wow, my wife let me watch the kids. She trusted me. She actually said she trusts me." I haven't heard that in years. It's some of the coolest stuff to watch young ladies, to watch the children come back and say, "I'm proud of you, Dad. I'm proud of you, Mom." Right? Sometimes that may take a little while, but it usually happens. Right? For me, it took 8 years. It took me 8 years. Nor is this the only kind of 12 step work. We sit in AA meetings and listen, not only to receive something ourselves, but to give reassurance and support, which our presence can bring. Now, if you've gone to an AA meeting with me, you know that I'm over there. I look like a bobblehead. I overemphasize. I do. I overemphasize it because we're on camera. We're in person. You get the feeling. So I want you to know that I'm excited for you. I'm fucking excited. I'll be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah. And they're over there going, wow. Wow. Because there's a lot of people that I'm fine. It happens more. I gotta stay humble. I gotta stay humble, but I've been getting a lot of compliments lately. Like a lot. Now, I'm not saying I don't like them. I will say or tell you I love being the center of attention. Yeah, I love it. Right? But there's got to be a certain humility to it. So, what does it mean? Well, it means if people trust and respect me, then when I'm over there cheering them on, it does something for them. It encourages them to be even better. Pretty fucking cool stuff, man. If our turn comes to speak at a meeting, we again try to carry AA's message. That is 12 step work. Whenever you share at a meeting, you are doing 12 step work. Whether our audience is one or many, it is still 12 step work. There are many opportunities, even those of us who feel unable to speak at meetings, who are so situated that we cannot do much face to face 12 step work. We can be the ones who take the unspectacular but important tasks that make good 12 step work possible. Yeah, creating 12 step work. There's a lot of people in the background that do the thankless jobs of, and not chairing, not hosting. In a Zoom meeting, it's not really there. You can't really go around and pour people coffee. I'm looking for new service things that we can do in Zoom. I'm looking for new service stuff. Maybe breakout rooms or stuff. And arranging coffee and the cake after meetings, where so many skeptical, suspicious newcomers have found confidence and comfort in the laughter and talk. This is 12-step work in the very best sense of the word. Freely have received, freely give is the core part of step 12. It's the only way it can work. Deep breaths. All right. Now I'm going to go to page 115. 115. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Greeters. Yeah. Yeah. I have a greeter. It's part of what I do. That's why I open the room. You know, you do a lot of greeting at the grassroots too. That's what's cool about grassroots. Somebody else comes in, everybody says hi. It's a different group. It is. I cannot sit here and tell you how or why or anything else. I just know that it is. You know, I don't have all the information, but I know that my intuition is usually dead on. Right. And that's God. That's God talking, giving me certain feelings. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I give it a 99. All right. So page 115, after we come into AA, if we go on growing, our attitudes and actions towards security, emotional security, and financial security commence to change profoundly. Our demand for emotional security for our own way had constantly thrown us into unworkable relations with other people. Though we were sometimes quite unconscious of this, the result always had been the same. Either we had tried to play God and dominate those about us, or we insisted on being overdependent upon them. Always these extremes. Right? I was just talking to a sponsee about this yesterday. Every relationship is a give and take. Every relationship needs to be on what is called a give and take relationship. Okay. Now, it is often where I will hear, and because I used to help with couples counseling too, family counseling. And this was the way I give and give and give. I give, and both people are saying, "Oh no, I'm the one that always gives, and you don't appreciate." Well, I'm giving all the time, and you don't appreciate. They're both wrong. They're both incorrect. They're both right. Actually, they're right. See, you're giving 100% of the time, and both of you are. Then where's the taking? You got to stop and take what other people are giving you sometimes. Yes. Yeah. Weird, huh? Not really. And it can't be more than 100%. I don't care what people say. Well, I give 100%, I take 100%. That's not possible. I'm not Superman. Okay? My wife and I, we're very, very much a give and take. Give and take. A lot of times it's 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's 80-20. But then we go back to the saying of we're not all sick on the same day. That's the key. That's the key. But every relationship, if it won't be healthy unless there is a give and take basis. That might be humor, it might be advice, it might be a lot of different things. But more than anything, it's a love language. Yes, it is. Right? Because it isn't just about helping or giving, it's about how and when and having some tact around it, right? Yep. So where people had temporarily let us run their lives as though they were still children, we felt very happy and secure ourselves. But when they finally resisted or ran away, we were bitterly hurt and disappointed. We blamed them, being quite unable to see that our unreasonable demands had been the cause. It's like, and this is the 5th time it's happened, but I'm still blaming that other person. Right? This was a weird one for me with relationships. I knew I was the cause. I knew I was the problem. Right? Um, and please don't take that. I dated a lot of beautiful women, and I don't mean beautiful, just beautiful as in looks. No, no, these were beautiful women with big hearts who deserved better than me. That's actually how I felt. I knew when I had worn out my welcome. I knew when it was done. And quite often they wouldn't want me to go, but I tell you now, they're much better off now. Yes, they are. Right? But that was still a form of manipulation. Still wasn't done the right way. All right. When we had taken the opposite tack and had insisted like infants ourselves that people protect and care of us or that world owed us a living, then the result had been equally unfortunate. Happening a lot right now. I demand that you call me this pronoun. Right. And I'm creating an example because I can tell you now where I have messed up, and I've messed up a few times with pronouns. They just corrected me. And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't. You know, what we see online and what's actually going on out there seems to be two different things. All right. But it is quite often, maybe I go somewhere and somebody's rude to me. I feel the need to be rude back or make some comment, or maybe I'll go as far to put it on Facebook. I had a bad experience here. Okay. Now I need to take a look at that because sometimes this is what I believe. If I come across somebody and they're being rude to me, there's something going on, and God put me in that situation because I can help. That's how I take it. Maybe it's a bad assumption. Right? You okay? All right? Okay. Well, I hope your day gets better, man. Whatever's going on, I hope it gets better. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day. Did you think maybe that nothing happened? We run around saying nothing happens in God's world by mistake. But the moment it disrupts our own emotional nature, oh, how differently we decide to act. Maybe they just got really bad news. Maybe they are so overwhelmed with emotions at the present moment that it is hard for them to be able to have a good attitude at the time. You ever been there? Yeah. We got to start giving people a little more grace. Okay. This often caused the people we had loved most to push us aside or perhaps desert us entirely. Our disillusionment had been hard to bear. We had failed to see that though adult in years, we were still behaving childishly, trying to turn everybody, friends, wives, husbands, even the world itself, into protective parents. We had refused to learn the very hard lesson that overdependence upon people is unsuccessful because all people are fallible, and even the best of them will sometimes let us down, especially when our demands for attention become unreasonable. God, I kind of make me angry. They're describing me. I'm kidding. No, they are describing me, but I'm not angry about it. We call it reading our mail. I mean, yeah, that describes me. Now, here's a trait that every human being has. When it comes to anger or when we're going through things, we will take it out on the people that we love the most. That's where we take it out. All right. So now we're going to go to the bottom of page 122 and we're going to finish the chapter. I'm trying to wrap it up here so I can go to the 3:00 newcomer meeting. If you'd like to go to that, just let me know. I'll send you the link. But not so with alcoholics. When AA was quite young, a number of eminent psychologists, eminent meaning very popular, knowing what they're doing. They like Carl Jung, okay? And doctors made an exhaustive study of a good-sized group of so-called problem drinkers. The doctors were not trying to find out how different we were from one another. No, from one another. From one another. They sought to find whatever personality traits, if any, the group of alcoholics had in common. They finally came up with the conclusion that shocked AA members of the time. It's not going to shock us here because now we know a little bit better. They finally came up with the conclusion, right? These distinguished men had the nerve, they had the nerve, right? Cowardly Lion, to say that most of the alcoholics under investigation were still childish, emotionally sensitive, and grandiose. Yes. Yeah. Oh, God, was I sensitive? I was all three of these things. Right? How we alcoholics did resent that verdict. We would not believe that our adult dreams were often truly childish, and considering the rough deal life had given us, we felt it perfectly natural that we were sensitive. As to our grandiose behavior, we insist that we had to be possessed of nothing but a high and legitimate ambition to win the battle of life. Now, this happens a lot on social media. Oh, I'm going to make a video. It's going to go viral. Yeah, I still have dreams of being a drum rock star. I'm 54. It ain't happening now. Well, it might. Yeah, Michelle, that's a good point. You become emotionally stunted the day you start drinking. That's where you're emotional. So I'm 54 with the behavior of an emotional behavior of a 13-year-old. Not anymore. I've kind of caught up to myself now. Okay. But, when we're sitting there saying we want to go viral, and there's a ton of them, and people seem to be willing to do anything for that stuff. All right. I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. In the years since, however, most of us have come to agree with those doctors. We've had a much keener look at ourselves and those about us. We have seen that we were prodded by unreasonable fears or anxieties into making a life business of winning fame, money, and what we thought was leadership. So false pride became the reverse side of that ruinous coin marked fear. We simply had to be number one to cover up our deep lighting inferiorities. In fitful successes, we boasted of greater feats to be done. In defeat, we were bitter. If we didn't have much of any world success, we became depressed and cowed. Then people said we were of the inferior type. But now we see ourselves as chips off the same old block. At heart, we have been abnormally fearful. It mattered little whether we had sat on the shores of life drinking ourselves into forgetfulness or plunged in recklessly and willfully beyond our depth and ability. The result was the same. All of us had nearly perished in the sea of alcohol. But today, in well-matured AA, these distorted drives have been restored to something like their true purpose and direction. We no longer strive to dominate or rule those about us in order to gain self-importance. We don't need to anymore. We don't need to anymore. We got God. We have true brotherhood. We have true sisterhood. Our lives are on a give and take basis. Self-esteem comes from self. It is not called them esteem or us esteem. It is called self-esteem, and it only comes from within. Okay? So, when by devoted service to family, friends, business, or community, we attract widespread affection and are sometimes singled out for posts of greater responsibility and trust. I'm going through that. I've been singled out for greater responsibility and trust. It's in my county. There's like 30 people involved in what we're doing. I'm the only peer. I've asked plenty of people to join us, and they just don't want to give up their precious time. Okay. But I have a purview of all of it because I've worked at detox. I've worked treatment. I've been in detox. I've been in treatment as a client, and I've been on both sides of this, and I've seen what works, and I've seen clearly what does not work. And that experience is invaluable. But the part that comes next We try to be humbly grateful and exert ourselves the more in the spirit of love and service. True leadership, we find, depends upon example and not upon vain displays of power or glory. Now, the one thing you don't see me doing is going online and bragging that I helped somebody. Okay. I don't need to. It is self-esteem, not Facebook esteem. Still more wonderful. Oh, 5 minutes. We got time. I don't run anything in the 3 o'clock anymore, so I'm just another member. Still more wonderful is the feeling that we do not have to be specially distinguished among our fellows in order to be useful and profoundly happy. Yeah. Hey, if you come to the grassroots meeting, I want you there. I don't fuck how you look. I don't care your gender. I think you know where I'm going. I don't care about that. What I care about is this. What can I do to help you? That's what I care about. You're a child of God and you're beautiful in my eyes. Even the people I don't quote unquote like, I'm kind of past that stuff now, most of it anyway. I'm human. I'm sure something will pop up. Not many of us can be leaders of prominence, nor do we wish to be. Service gladly rendered, obligations squarely met, troubles well accepted or solved with God's help. The knowledge that at home or in the world outside, we are partners in a common effort. The well understood fact that in God's sight, all human beings are important. See? All human beings are important. You bet. See, in the morning, I ask God for direction, then I go to meetings. I don't get to decide who God's going to talk through. I don't get to make that decision. That means that I have to remain open-minded and listen to everybody that is sharing. The knowledge that at home we are a partner in common effort, the well understood fact that God's sight, all human beings are important, the proof that love freely given surely brings a full return. Not only does it bring a full return, it'll come back tenfold. These are dividends. Work towards the dividends. That's where it's at. But certainly we are no longer isolated and alone in self-constructed prisons. The surety that we no longer need to be square pegs and round holes, but can fit and belong in God's scheme of things. These are the permanent and legitimate satisfactions of right living for which no amount of pomp and circumstance, no heap of material possessions could possibly be substitutes. No, I've not found a sufficient substitute for that. But what I did find was a sufficient substitute to my drinking, and it was the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. It is what we're talking about right now. I had 2 minutes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be talking real fast now. True ambition is not what we thought it was. True ambition is the deep desire to live usefully and walk humbly under the grace of God. These little studies of AA's 12 steps now come to the close. We have been considering so many problems that it may appear that AA consists mainly of racking dilemmas and troubleshooting. To a certain extent, that is true. We've been talking about problems because we are a problem people who have found a way up and out and who wish to share our knowledge. That's where I'm at. I just want to share my knowledge. That's all I want. I have a lot of experience, and if it means that I can help somebody else avoid the pitfalls, I'm going to do it. I'm a housing first person. Well, they're a drug addict. Okay. Put a roof over their head. But they're a drug addict. I don't give a fuck. Put a goddamn roof over their head. Let's at least try. Let's at least try. That's what I'll fight for. All right. For it is only by accepting and solving our problems that we can begin to get right with ourselves and with the world about us, and with Him who presides over us all. Understanding is the key to right principles and attitudes, and right action is the key to good living. Therefore, the joy of good living is the theme of AA's 12 steps. With each passing day of our lives, may every one of us sense more deeply the inner meaning of AA's simple prayer, which AA didn't come up with. Now I forget who wrote it. We just talked about this in the meeting. So God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do.